Before we begin today's podcast, I'd like to thank Barbell Apparel, premium athletic wear engineered for performance with a tailored athletic fit, refined clothing for an athletic body type. You can use Barbell/Best and get hooked up with Barbell Apparel. Evolution Athletics, supportive gear owned by Brian Shaw, four-time world's strongest man. We believe in all athletes and support their journey towards greatness, and you can get to that greatness with the gear, his stuff. It works. It uses. I have the soft belt. God damn it, I love that thing. Phorm. Our mission is to help real people get real long-term results, and you can do that at Phorm. Use the link in the notes. It really helps us out. Want to be coached by 10-time world's strongest man competitor, Masters world's strongest man, world powerlifting champion Nick Best? Well, guess what? You can get under his tutelage. Fill out the link in the notes. Once you fill out the link, once you fill out the form, you'll receive an email from me. And once you get that email back, just pick the program you want, and then it's that easy. That's Nick Best Coaching. Make sure you go check it out. Links are in the notes. And let's get into today's show. All right, this is the Best Experience with your host, Nick Best and the Angry Dad. And we have a special guest. We have Coach Joe Kenn. The
house is in the house.
House yes. In the house. He's the vice president of performance, education, dynamic fitness, and strength. He was a strength and conditioning coach for 8 years in the NFL. And he also happened to train and conditioned with one of the strongest men in the world, four-time strongman Brian Shaw. And I've actually met you twice. I met you in Sacramento, and and we were down over here in Myrtle Beach this year. And like I said, it was a great experience for me. You know what I'm saying? Especially being around, the like elite people like yourself, and just seeing everything happening for all the strength and conditioning.
Well, I appreciate that. And it's funny because when people. You always accept acknowledgement. I don't care what anyone says. When you try to stay as humble as you can, but you're only as good as the people you surround yourself by. And most of the time, a great coach, and he wouldn't call himself great, but he was a great athlete too. Judd Logan, who was a four-time Olympian hammer thrower, worked with my son, and he said, "Great coaches are made by great athletes. There's only good coaches." And I think there's a little truth to that. And how do you separate yourself is, I think the good coach puts themselves in a position that they surround themselves with greatness, and it elevates them. And fortunately for me, I've been very, very, blessed, if you want to call it that, or fortunate to be in a position with the jobs that I've had. The people I was able to hire, and then the people I've been able to meet, that it just seems like all those degrees of separation and connection, we've all been high achievers. And for the last 2 years, Brian and Kerry and the Shaws have given me an opportunity to work with one of the highest achievers ever in his particular sport. So I've got to really learn a lot about myself as a coach, as a person in this new world of online virtual coaching, which I still can't wrap my head around it. Coaching is the right title for it, because my definition of coaching is a little bit different. I think it's a hands-on position, and you're hands-off a lot. And the last 2 years, and Nick and I have had a couple of conversations, because Nick and Brian are very close. There's a lot of things I thought last year I missed physically, because I was still learning the space, and I was still learning how to deal with someone who handles the loads that they handle, when in my world, a lot of that training is easy, because in team sports, math means a lot in training. It's similar to powerlifting. Math means a lot when you're trying to factor in training loads. What I learned with elite level strongman, some of that can pay off in the off season, but once it's time for the comp, you got to throw the math out, because these guys go a lot on the auto regulation of it, and truly the highs and lows of handling that type of loads. Like, it's amazing to me to watch these guys a lot of times on their YouTube channels, where I had to study a lot, where like, for example, I remember one time I'm watching Martin Lisi's, and he misses 825 in the deadlift. I'm like, wow, man, that was what's going on? Like, then the next week he does it for 5, right? Like, it's like,
yeah.
And there was a couple of times where Brian would go, oh, I just think I need a cheesecake. And I'm like, seriously, a cheesecake is going to change all that. And then this year, what I think I learned a lot too is, without being there, was more the mental part of what a good coach can recognize. And I knew he had and again, I don't want to speak for Brian. I never want to speak. It's his story. But I knew he had put a lot on this one. The last one.
A lot on himself,
and I really felt deep down in my heart, because I wrote this in the debrief last year, because Nick and I know there were some contemplations last year of what to do next. And I put down, can this athlete win the world's strongest man at 41 years old? I said, yes. I said, can this man podium at world's strongest man at 41 years old? Yes, because I believe that.
Yeah.
And going into this, when he, I believed he can do it, especially when they gave the events out so early.
Yeah.
I mean, it was such a better event lineup for him mentally, because here's what people don't understand. And I think Nick's done a great job of this with how he trains. Obviously, Mark Felix does a great job of this. And guys like Brian, how do you control? Because the older you get, the more cerebral you get. And the more you have deliberate intentions that you've got to focus and visualize on, because you're going to succeed more on strategy than your overall capabilities. Because I say it all the time, we all are trying to beat the birth certificate. The birth certificate's going to win. But the question is, how long can you maintain the fact that you can beat it? Where like, again, there were certain things that happened throughout the event, right? Where psychologically, the older athlete, it's going to affect them more. Where 10 years ago, I could, that athlete could give two shits, for the lack of a better term, of, oh, they're going to do this. I don't care. I'm the best. They're going to do this. I don't care. I'm the best. Now it's, they're going to do this. Wait, I spent, an hour in my meditation and visualization process of, this is how the day's going to go. This is how I'm going to hit. It'd be like in powerlifting where, hey, man, today's my first time I'm going to squat 800. And you walk in and they go, hey, we're changing the events. We're going to deadlift first and squat last. And man, that's it. You're not even deadlifting good. Not even deadlifting good. So I learned, I've said this, the best thing that I've learned in the 2 years of working with Brian is continuing to educate myself and know that people always say the no question's a stupid question. And I think there's a lot of merit to that. So I learned a lot about what my role was last year with Brian as far as the coach. And now this year I've learned more that dealing with individual athletes, you've got to continue to make sure that this is level. Like they're not putting additional stress and you're looking at past of who they were, and again, I listen to Laws a lot too. I like watching some of his stuff on YouTube, and he'll always bring up like, man, it's hard for me to believe that this is what I do when I did this, but that's who you are now. Like that's your 100%. Like
it's different.
And that's what you got to remember. Like for me, I know what my 100% is. It's not what it was when I was 26. It's not what it was when I was 36. So I'm pushing the gauntlet of what's my 100% now. And it's hard for for me as a competitive powerlifter, I was always a class 2 lifter. So for me, Joe average, but for the elite guys, that's so much harder for them to gravitate to because they've done things that are inhuman. And it's hard for even them to come to that realization that I can't really do these things anymore, and it crushes them. And so it's a different attack point. Like, how do you go about like Nick's personality fits what I think is why he's able to do it, because he attacks things jovial. I think he puts internal pressure on it, but it looks like there's this really just an opportunity to be there, be around people, and there's different people have different motivation goals. Like I laughed when someone said, "Oh, Brian is going to do worlds over 40." Brian Shaw, after the Shaw Classic, I highly will. I'll bet all the money I ever made in coaching will never compete again. That guy competes to win the best of the best of the best. That's his mindset. There's a reason why. 15 straight finals. I was just talking to a good friend of mine that knows Brian from the Arizona State days and I go, the guy went to 15 straight finals. None of these guys will last 15 years, and that's nothing against them.
Yeah.
It's nothing against any of them. So you're 66% of the time you were on the podium. You never finished lower than 7th.
Right.
And I think where Brian's mentality is that, right? Like, if I can't win, I'm out. But then you see the other appreciation from another standpoint. Like, look at Luke Stoltman, who's closing in on 40, I believe. He's closing in on that infamous Masters.
He's getting
level.
close.
Yeah, like 38 or 39. You see him make the finals, and he's like, I've proven that I am one of the 10 most strongest men in the world.
Yeah.
You know, like when you look at Mark Felix, Mark came in 4th in his group 2 years in a row at 56 and 57 years old. When you look at it from the standpoint of the entire group, that means that he's top 20 in the world.
Oh, for sure.
If you want to look at it that way, because every group has 2 guys that were 5th and 6th. That's 10 people. He's top 20. Yeah. He's top 20 in the world at 57.
Yeah, that's pretty freaky.
You know,
that's truly
that's
freaky.
the things that you learn, and you learn a lot about the individualities of different people and how their personas change, because that's the hard part with people that coach individual athletes. There's a tremendous amount of internal pressure to succeed because you can't hide behind anyone else. You know, football's easy. You have 11 people aside and you hide under a helmet. Yeah, unless you get a penalty, nobody knows I play offensive guard except my girlfriend, or not, who's now my wife, and my dad, who's watching me and not watching the ball. So, you know, when you're out there, and that was one of the reasons why when my kids were younger, I got them into powerlifting, not necessarily because I wanted them to be powerlifters. I wanted them to compete in an individual sport so they understood the pressure of walking up there and looking around and there's no one else to be found.
Right.
Now, my older son excelled in team sports. They both did team sports, but my youngest son excelled as a thrower. And I think some of his ability to walk into the ring with a profound confidence and understanding, I think, was probably helped that I had him powerlifting as a teenager. So there's a lot of good things that happen from individual sports into team sports. Team sports to individual, I don't know, because it's a very unique. That would be an interesting thing to watch. We're seeing Tom Evans do it now in the strongman space, but you don't see a lot of team sport guys converting to strongmen. And I've coached a lot of guys who, could they win World's Strongest Man? I don't know that, but they could probably be pretty highly successful and get a chance to possibly get an invite.
Right. Which there's a lot of freak athletes in the NFL. I'm sure you've dealt with more than a few guys that can actually get there without a problem. Because
I coached guys that weighed over 400 pounds.
Yeah, they're the freaks.
Now, that didn't help them. That didn't help them make an NFL roster, but they were freaky. And then look at some of these guys now, like DJ Metcalf and Tyreek Hill, going to track meets and holding their own with world-class athletes. And I know the way they got to train for football. For them to run that fast, that means they're legitimately fast. Like, those dudes got something special. So again, it just comes to what you gravitate towards, right? And it's very unique. Like, I'll be real interested, and I'm sure Nick would be too, is where the strongman space really changes now that the Bryans and the Zavickuses and the big, and I know Tom Stoltman would be considered one of the bigger guys. He fits that mold a little bit, but he's still young enough where he's athletic like Brian was. But most of these other guys are, I told somebody, I said, if you're between 6'3" and 6'5" and weigh between 330 and 340, that's what a strong man's going to win. That's the winning strongman combination right now. But the wear and tear of how many competitions these guys go to, how much, and again, a lot of them this is their job. So they got to show up to try to get on the podium. But it can wear you out. That was one thing where I know I told Brian, and I'll just say this out loud. I told Brian, I said, you need to start invoicing all these World's Strongest Men because they owe you a commission for all their YouTube channels.
Yeah, they do.
Because he's shown them how to be a true businessman and to monetize who they are. And it shows, like, there's a reason why strongman is what it is, because the guy comes in 7th place and he stands on his feet for 5 hours afterwards signing autographs. He never sat down, and he addressed every single coach, or excuse me, every single person in the eye and legitimately looks at him or her and hears their story. And then he comes back and does it the next night for 5.5 hours.
Yeah.
My question is to the World's Strongest Man community, and I'm talking about the people who run the show, is I found it funny that no one from World's Strongest Man is smart enough to stick around and see the impact that this guy had. When we were there, and Nick was there for quite a bit, the only ones left were the security guys, the security dogs, and Team Shaw.
Yeah.
That was the only ones left at 8:30 that night. And then the next night was a private event that we got to run at a local gym there. So that was more Brian. But the night of the deal was something that I don't think World's Strongest Man understands. Like, if they have that thing at Myrtle Beach again, it'll have half the crowd. Yeah. And it'll still be a great event because it was a great venue. It was set up great.
They said about 30,000 people.
Yeah, 30 to 40,000 was down here in the local stuff.
I'm fairly sure if they do that again, they're going to probably install actual grandstands.
Well, they have, that was the one. They got to take the stages, find out. I think they could have easily have done higher. They could have went at least 20 rows up on steel stages out there. And that, lesson learned. But because I'll tell you what, I'd like to have been the Home Depot that sold all those steps.
That's it.
I know, right?
And they came out in droves the second day of qualifying.
I've seen 12-foot ladders out there.
I know. So that's my, that's, to me, that's where me now in the role I'm in now, I'm learning so much more about business. Like, that's just like no brainers, man. This is a guy this is the guy, man. Like, you can't keep patting him on the back and kudo on what he's done for World's Strongest Man, and then when the event's over, you're like, hey, man. Yeah, it's like
they should have been there with the camera the whole time.
The whole time.
Honestly.
The whole time.
It's all a media play anyway. So it was, like I said, man, I've learned a lot. I've gotten to meet, again, the coolest thing for me is to meet, I've always loved Nick and Mark from afar because that's my age. And the fact that you get to meet them, and again, you could call, it's like like you don't want to meet your heroes because sometimes they disappoint.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate that most of the people that I admire have not disappointed. And just to watch the way they interact and just the things that they're accomplished is what. So like for those guys like that motivate me. I try to train hard for the guys who are more like me to say, hey, man, I'm just an ex-beat up Division I college football player trying to fight the good fight. There's people like looking at me because I look at these guys and I can understand because I've been around what that looks like for those levels. But there's a lot of people that look at me like I can't do that.
Yeah.
But you can train hard enough anyway. It's not about what I'm doing. It's how hard I'm trying to do it and what I'm trying to accomplish to show that, hey, man, it doesn't matter who you are. Your level is your level. Just understand that. And then you're trying to fight to beat that level.
Yeah, just try to be the best you can at that level. That's all you can really do. Just in general, if you always beating yourself, eventually you'll beat everybody else.
Yeah, and like
just
I
be
say,
the best you.
If I go in the gym today and I do a new exercise, that's my best. That's my all-time best. 50. Man, I keep losing you guys. Sorry about that.
Oh, no,
it's okay.
Right. You're still fine on us.
Yeah. Okay.
You're good.
No. So yeah, it's been a cool journey. I've been very, very fortunate to, and like anything else, people don't get enough credit. Everything revolves around my wife. I get to do everything because she always, in the end, knows that this is who I am, and I get to do some really cool stuff, and it's been fun. It's been a lot different for us these last 3 years because I work from home, and for the first 30 years of our marriage, I was never home.
How did that go when all of a sudden you weren't there and then you're there?
It was more, well,
who's the bigger adjustment for you or her?
Me,
Okay.
because I'm very selfish with my time because it's just the way, and I'm kind of I don't need to be around anybody person. Like I just need to know you're there, and I'm cool. Where the rest of my family are really close. They like doing things together, and like, hey, I'll stay home, and then I get yelled at, and then I wind up coming. But it was more of an adjustment for me because I'm used to being very regimented and calling the shots. Like through my entire career, my wife would always remember when I'd walk in the door. Now, remember, you're not at work with your subsidiaries; you're at home now. So, but for 9 years at the Panthers, I actually lived in Charlotte, and my wife lived here in Clemens, and I didn't see her really for 9 years. We saw each other just hours a week.
Wow.
Even though we were an hour and 10 minutes away, because she was here taking care of the family. She was here helping my oldest son and his wife and girlfriend at the time with my two grandkids. So it was really a unique situation. But what I think it proves is when you have the right life partner, nothing gets in the way. Mm-hmm. And so now is a time where being here, I'm still trying to wrap my head around being a stay-at-home worker, because that's been very unique. I'm in a very good situation with the company I work with because it is fitness related. Mm-hmm. So I really benefit from that because it allows me to do the stuff I do. Right. It allows me to go into these events, and really I have a better platform to show my ability to provide to the coaches differently than when I'm locked into one specific university or team, because then you got to watch how you handle yourself because you represent the logo. Mm-hmm. And in my position now and my title, me doing things like this represents the logo. Right. Because there's a lot of NFL teams that won't let coaches do podcasts. They won't let them speak at clinics. Yeah. If they do speak at clinics, they can't be promoted as the strength coach of the team. Mm-hmm. Like there was several times I was at a clinic where it said Joe Kenn, NFL strength coach.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a little bit because they don't want. I think a lot of it is there's some name, image, and likeness marks too, as far as their logos and stuff.
Yeah, trademarks. Sure.
And I always said this anyway, that they don't want you trading off their name.
Hey. Well, yeah, but they're getting something from your name.
Well,
and your ability.
A lot of times they don't think that way. Well, the NFL is. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, luckily for me, I was in a program where the GM, the head coach, they were very supportive. So I didn't have a lot of the kind of nuances that some of the others did. But they're billionaires running billionaire businesses. They get to make their decisions the way they want. So that's a story for another day. It was a good run. Like people always say, "Oh, do you miss it?" Of course you miss it, right? But I always say, don't feel bad for me. I coached 9 years in the NFL. You know how hard that is? Mm-hmm. I had one of 32 jobs in the whole world. I'm cool. Like I got, we didn't win the Super Bowl. I coached in the Super Bowl. I coached in London. I coached in the Pro Bowl. I coached, looks like I could probably have coached, four, possibly 5 Hall of Famers in the future. So, and one of them, I really believe he's going to get in, Steve Smith. I would have coached in college and the pros. Man, so that's even going to be
pretty
super
amazing.
Cool. And I introduced him to his agent, so that would even be super duper cool if he gets in. So and again, I don't know. The biggest thing that you learn over time, and I think this goes with any profession, but really much gravitates towards sports, is whether you're an athlete or a coach. And I think Nick's probably still chasing the success, but he's at a point now where the significant impact that he makes on individuals in our age bracket who want to be competitive, his personality and the style he presents himself, it makes a significant impact on motivating probably more, just like Brian finds out, the amount of people that he's probably resonating with, you're never going to know. And it's the same thing for me in my coaching world. Like when you're in sports, success has to matter because you're judged on winning and losing. Mm-hmm. No one's judging these guys on, if they would have judged Brian on how well he trained, Nick knows compared to last year, he'd have been on the podium and probably won.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll agree.
The way his training came into play this year.
Well, the crazy thing about that is what he went through.
Yes.
At the beginning of it. I mean, he almost lost his leg.
And again, that was things like he told, like I didn't realize how bad it was till the video. I was like, yo, man, you held out on me.
Well, I knew how bad it was.
Yeah, he didn't really give me the whole
I've
deal.
been through I've been through something similar. I was on an antibiotics IV for a week. And I had to wear a little pump around with me when I went through this.
Well, yeah, that's what I remember saying to him because I knew what they put that PICC line in. And then he said he was going home and was going to jump in the room. And I was like, hey, did they pull that? Because I know my wife had a PICC line in and they said, you can't train with a PICC line. So he made him pull it out. So, so for me, the success has always got to be there if you're a competitor because winning matters. But at some point in time, like, what else more do I have to accomplish for me to where you get to that point where I just want to make a significant impact on my profession? And I see that when I go to these conferences and the amount of coaches who will come up and visit us at the booth and, hey, your programming has made this for me. And, the block, how would you do this? And it's just about just building relationships. And that's what's helped me in my role now is because I get to meet more of the people I've made an impact on. Because if I'm at a school or a university, I don't get to do it. Like next week, I'll probably visit one or two colleges, and I'm going to Fort Bragg next week. The week after that, I'll probably visit a couple of high schools, and then I go to the national events, and then you get the conglomerate of all that stuff. So it's been really good because it's helped me, like anything else, stay relevant. Because you hate to say it, you can't. There's not supposed to be discrimination, but you're going to age out of athletics, and you're going to age out of coaching. Yeah. And somebody made a great point in their recap of the conference I was just at. Coaches are getting younger and younger. And there's more of them, especially in strength and conditioning, because schools are paying more. They're investing more into the whole gauntlet of student athlete health, welfare, and development.
Well, they're going to have to, though.
Crazy.
They're going to have to because there's so much money to be made online training for yourself that – and unless they come with, 6 figures, the guy can sit in his computer and do it at home.
Oh no, 100%.
And not have any of the issues with going to the school and all the different athletes and everything, all the hell that you guys go through, getting up at 4:00 in the morning and putting your workout in, because that's something people don't realize about you. You will do it first.
Yeah, I started towards the end of my career. I started trading at a local gym. But even then, because it was a 24-hour deal, most of the time I'm up at 4 getting my workout in before the team comes in for a lot of reasons. I know there was several times in my NFL career where guys said they would walk through the gym because you had to get through the weight room to get to the locker room a lot of times. And guys are like, man, I just didn't have it. And then I walk in and see you guys in there training, and they're like, I'll get it through. Plus, when you build that rapport with the guys, they also know that, hey, man, I'm gonna take care of you. Like I understand what the real dynamics are. You playing football on Sundays, and that's the other thing that team sport coaches have to realize about dealing with. Like everybody goes, what's the hardest thing about training a world's strongest man competitor? Well, that shit matters. Like if my guy benches 400 one day and misses 400, he's still going to get 10 tackles on Sunday.
Right.
If my guy misses a 400 log, that just cost him 6 points.
Right.
And now he's in the stone off somewhere he doesn't want to be. It's like just crazy stuff like that people don't understand. And that's why I'm very, very excited to watch Tom Evans' progression in strongman. I think, I don't ever want to limit people, but as I watch how these strongman events are trying to set their own little specifics of what this means, because again, when you really start looking now at World's Strongest Man, if you compare the way now, I think it's a durability game, World's Strongest Man.
Yeah.
And that's where guys at the age brackets of the Bryans and the Luke Stoltmans have to get kudos to getting to the second event day, the second competition.
Yeah.
But what you're seeing now is they've put so much to get to the second competition. There's not enough days in between to get to the finish line of why you really wanted to be there.
Right. And I'll put some of that on World's Strongest Man because they don't need that stone off. As cool as it looks for TV, and as cool as it looks to watch two guys go out there and sell themselves to the end, maybe have that in the finals. How about do that for the last event?
That would be something interesting, wouldn't it?
Because then it's over, it's done. The 5 guys that get into the stone off, for the most part, are at such a disadvantage. They're lucky if they'll break the top 5.
Well, it's like, and Nick, back then, even Brian said, and last year when it was even a little different advantage because he came in 3rd, so it actually benefited him to have the stone off last year. But that's not to say that if they did what they usually did and had an Atlas stone run at the end of the events, that he wouldn't have won his group on the stones and gotten to the finals anyway. So
and the guys do 5 stones.
Yeah,
and they don't get that beat up.
So I think it's everybody just have 6 events, and like you said, it might not need to be a stones. Just have 6 events in the friggin' qualifiers that everybody. And everybody's got to run them. Tell hey, everybody's got to compete in all 6. If you dog one, we're penalizing you points.
Well, that's the way it used to be. And then they tried to do double points for Atlas stones.
Yeah, no, hey man,
that really didn't work.
You got 6 events in the prelims. Everybody does all 6. Everybody does all 6. That's just the way. And there's one thing and I know a lot. And again, I just evaluate watching different people, and I think he brought it up. I didn't listen for sure, but everybody was looking at when Mitch Hooper went out and did all the kettlebell throws, and everybody's like, "What's he doing?" Well, one is, if you know his background, he's not worried about conditioning and recovery. Plus, he's 28, and if you look at his background, that dude. But I know this guy's cerebral enough to know this: he doesn't have all the equipment at his house yet. And he hasn't done all the events. So for him, in a less taxing movement, he's like, I'm going to run the gauntlet because I got to learn how to do this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, it doesn't affect a 28-year-old.
Yeah. And the thing
no one
people don't get is
going to the stone off. So he's like, I'll take a run at it.
Yeah. And then he's a marathoner.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
The guy ran 26 miles and suffered for 26 miles. He can handle pain.
And if you play golf, you're walking 4.5 miles anyway, doing that too.
That's it. And if he would have won that, he would have been the first strongman to ever win all his heats.
All the events in the heats,
So you look at it that way, and you see how World's Strongest Man is going. See, to me, it's almost the world's strongest athlete.
Yeah, it's gotten that way again, yeah.
And now you're looking at
But back to the Marius days.
Yes, and then you got the Arnold. Remember, they created the Arnold for Zavickas, the static monsters. Hey, let's do a 9,000-pound yoke and only walk 2 feet, right? Crazy stuff like that. Well, now you see what's the Rogue Invitation do? What's the Shaw Classic? So you got this interesting component of how to deliver. Because I remember when that thing started separating, it was like, okay, what do I do? Like in Brian and Halfdoor's case, and Eddie Hall, do I bulk up to 450 to win the Arnold? But that 450 ain't helping me win World's Strongest Man anymore.
Nope.
So it comes down to why I think that 6'3" to 6'5", 335 to 340 guy like I knew Mitch Hooper would win World's Strongest Man last year. I didn't know he'd win it right away, but he was going to win one within the next 3 years of him competing.
Oh yeah,
And I'm going to I'll make my bold prediction on your guys' podcast.
All right, let's hear it.
Is it Pavlo Cordiaca?
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
When he gains 30 more pounds, watch out.
True. Hey,
That
him
dude
and
is
Mitch.
talented. He
Yeah.
fills that frame out. Come on, he looked like an NFL tight end with his shirt off.
Hey,
He
he
did.
shredded
Yeah.
like that.
Shredded
Yeah.
and
He
lean.
puts on 30 more pounds to 40 more pounds and gets into that like 140 kilogram range or 100 in between. He doesn't need to be that much bigger than maybe 150.
Yeah, I think he gets to 150, 155.
It's over.
He's going to be just
Yeah.
because he's so tall.
Yeah, because he has the one thing that Novikov doesn't. He has height.
Yeah.
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 It's
Hey.
like Novikov is slightly shorter than me, and I know exactly how tall I was at my best. And all these fictional guys who tell you they're 6'4", if I walk by them and I'm taller than them, I can promise you they're not 6'2".
Yeah.
So,
No,
but I
I'm
mean,
tall.
that's where you look at stuff like that, and where I see there's going to be an interesting shift because, let's face it, I'm pulling for Brian to win the Shaw Classic,
Yeah.
and however if he needs me, I'm there. If he doesn't need me, doesn't matter.
Same.
I'm pulling for him to win the Shaw Classic.
Same.
But the cool thing now is when you look at the way this seasons are set up, you literally have the grand slam of strongman now. And
Yeah.
Mitch Hooper can pull it off. He
I'll
can
agree.
win the Arnold, the World's Strongest Man, the Shaw Classic, and the Rogue in a competitive calendar year.
Yes.
He can do it.
Because Brian was the first one to do the Arnold and World's
And the
Strongest
World's
Man.
Strongest Man. But and remember, that was it. Now
Yeah,
there's 4 legitimate shows
Yeah.
that I would put ahead of anything else.
Yep.
Here's your big 4. And now the question will be, and this is where Nick could, because Brian when Brian figured it out, Brian's going, it's like Tiger Woods. I only play in the big ones.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So now that
Exactly.
there's 4 big ones, and the calendar year spreads them out halfway decent.
Mm-hmm.
When does a guy like a Mitch Hooper or someone in that type of competitive ability to podium a lot realize I'm just going to the big 4?
Yeah.
But the attractiveness of some of these other shows, and who knows what appearance money they're getting on the back end. I don't know that part of the game, but
Right.
look at what it's doing to these guys. Martins Lisi's looks like to me, and I don't know him, but if you look at what his last few years looks like, he's going to compete hard one year and take a year off.
Yep.
Compete hard one year, take a year off.
That's what he's got to do to last.
I mean, so he's looking at it a totally different game than some of these other guys. Where Novikov, again, and those guys, they don't train; they just compete year round, so they're always in comp mode. Like,
And that's what Sojournis did.
yeah, they
That's-
just compete.
that's what Big C did.
So,
But the guys running the contests in Europe, though, the contests weren't excruciatingly heavy. They were just heavy. And so he could use those contests as
that's training.
Right.
So let me ask you this, Nick, because I just saw this one that Ivar's won, and I love Ivar's.
So do I.
That guy is something. He competes. You could just tell he's just
He
just won this
man.
event, and it was like some kind of like speed event where they did 5 events in 90 minutes
Man.
or something like that. That event,
Yeah.
I thought that's what it said.
Yeah.
So what is that like? You just run from one event to the other, and whoever
And try
gets the
not to have
most
a heart
points wins?
Yeah. And try not to have a heart attack in the process. Yeah.
So, and that's the thing, like when you look at some of these older guys, and again, in respect, because they've the durability and the longevity is the World's Strongest Man is a hard event when you have to really look at who you are. Where a 2-day event or even one of these 1-day events, you have a chance to still be successful.
Right.
Because you don't have to rely on recovery as much.
True.
And
in the way
even sleep.
Yeah, in the way the show's set up now, When I first did World's Strongest Man, we had 3 days to do the 6 events. So that wasn't too bad. Oh, actually 4 days. We had 4 days to do the 6 events. We had 2 one day, 1 the next day, 2, and then 1, or some type of combination of that. It was 2-1, 2-1, or, or 1-1-1, 2-2, that type of stuff. And then you had 4 days off.
Yeah.
And you stayed at the hotel. You had 4 days. You could go get therapy. You could rest. You could recover. And then you came back and you had 3 events one day, 3 events the next day, and then done. And now it's 3 events one day, 3 events the next day, 1 day off. So you still got
that 1 day you're going to the boneyard to do testing.
Exactly. You're going to the boneyard to do testing. You're doing media, and then you're trying to get some type of therapy or get rest or just clear your head. So you're really not left to rest or recover.
Well, here's the other one, Nick, and I know I don't, and you'll shake your head when I say this. We're out to dinner with Brian after the stone off when he gets a text that says, "Be ready at 8:30 to go to the boneyard."
Hey,
come on, dude.
We were with Trey Mitchell.
Yeah.
We were with Trey Mitchell when that happened. They were like, huh? Like, it's like 10 o'clock at night right now. Everyone's barely settling down.
So again, and to me, I think even one more day where Brian could have settled down mentally and neurologically, because I just showed a guy at the conference his stone off took 5 minutes and 20 seconds from when Ronald Heinler touched the stone. And just think, every rep, the pressure that builds mentally on each guy.
Yeah, against a guy that can deadlift well over 1,000 pounds.
And that's what I told. Somebody goes, well, why about the other guy? I said, here's the difference. There was 10 guys in the stone off. And if you'd ask any world-class strongman, rank them, they'd have ranked Brian 1, Ronald 2.
Yeah.
And they had to go against each other.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll agree with that.
I as much as I hate to say it, you got to give Ronald credit because he probably knew I'm not going to beat him. But the fact that he went all in, I got to give kudos to that guy because he was going all in to get to the finals himself. People need to recognize that. Like,
big time.
Did it hurt my guy from a neurologically and recovery? Yeah, when you look at it now as a coach and you got to really evaluate things, probably would have been nice to do 3 stones like Tom Stoltman and go home. But on the other end, let's give kudos to the competitive nature of that guy, knowing, hey man, this is probably going to end on the wrong end of the stick for me, but I'm not just going to give it to the guy.
Yeah.
Well, no, and the thing is, when you're competing in the sport, anything can happen.
Yeah, you don't know. Like we saw last year.
You just don't give up. You just keep going and
pick the wrong tacky.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It happens.
I mean,
it cost somebody
like
third spot. It cost the guy 3rd place in the finals this year.
Yeah, I mean, so it's the guys. It's an interesting dynamic, and like I said, maybe people think sometimes I overdone, but I keep going back to, I can't thank Brian enough for giving me an opportunity to coach him because as Nick knows, he's had a lot of people that he'll rely on for information, but because of who he is, he's never really brought somebody in to actually say, I want some help. And the fact that he trusted me, I do. And I feel like I let him down a little bit because we didn't accomplish his goals. And because that's what he brought me in for. And as a coach, I'm always going to protect my guys. Yeah. So in the end, it's like, hey, man, when he wins, he wins. When he loses, it's on me. But again, I understand the whole thing. It's the way I live, and I'll continue to live that way because I need to keep that guy in a good frame of mind. Like,
you're right.
Hey, man, this is the way it goes. And like I said, you live and learn. You continue to ask questions. It'll be real interesting to see how I gave him some notes, and again, I don't want to say it loud. My biggest thing is I want him to just enjoy this next training cycle. Do not put anything like, I got to do 10 reps in this event to win. Just go out, compete your butt off, and you're good enough to do what you want to accomplish in this meet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it's hard. And I get it. When you're that guy, it's friggin' hard because he thinks he's letting everyone down.
Yeah, he does.
He does. I mean,
he does, and he's
was
not.
like,
he doesn't
all
get
these
that.
people came out to see me. Hey,
Yeah,
man,
they did, and they enjoyed it.
How many other people would do what you just did under the circumstances that were presented to you in the form of what happened? So it's I'll be interested to see, like I said, how does World's Strongest Man itself grow? Strongman's going to grow because Brian's never going to be not involved.
Yeah.
Right.
And the fact that, and Nick knows this with his wife too, and the fact that his wife understands the sport and the space so much and is so involved in the process, that just gives him more motivation to do what he wants to accomplish.
Right.
So strongman as a sport is definitely going to be in the United States to continue to get the recognition. And Brian's the type of guy who can go into a boardroom and represent the strongman community and try, like again, can he get it back on ESPN Live? Can the Show Classic go live on ESPN, even if it's ESPN2 or ESPN Plus?
Yeah.
90% of the people have some type of stream.
But that's turnkey for them.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's already set up turnkey for a live television production, for the whole thing.
Again, and you need the name recognition to access that,
which they got
that's it
as well.
And again, it's how other people Nick being in a professional strongman, I look at certain things like, how can we as a country in the strongman space get America's strongest man with the same worthiness of winning like Britain's strongest man? You go overseas and you listen to those guys when they say, look at Thor, for example. He was 10 times Iceland's strongest man. Did it really mean that much to you to win that thing 10 times when you're placing on the podium every year at Worlds? Or like Big Z. Now, Big Z's a nut job, right? He's just competing in there. But I mean, he was Lithuania's strongest man how many years? Or how important it is for the Stoltman brothers to be Britain's strongest man or Europe's strongest man or Novikov and all those guys. Right. When I first really dug in, I knew about Kazmaier, Bruce Wilhelm, Don Reinhardt, Franco Colombo, and all those guys. But really when it started to get popular again in the U.S. was when Philippi and all you guys started getting more involved. And when Mark being the strength coach at UNLV really started to jump things up, Mark, myself, and Chris Doyle, who was at University of Utah at the time, we conceptualized strongman in the college football training in that 95 to 96 area. Nobody was flipping tires and doing that stuff until we did it. And we all had our different reasons of doing it. Mark, being a competitor, he saw the value. Me, I saw the value in that full body work. And the fact that I was at Boise State at the time with no budget, I could trade a tire guy who had to pay to get his tires recycled a dozen football T-shirts, and they dump them all off at the football field.
Heck, they'll just let you take them. It's $200.
Yeah, man, you got to pay for these things to get dispersed. You want them? Come and get them.
Exactly.
Okay, man, here's some T-shirts. Let's go. So, I would like to see that from a fan perspective, where America's Bobby Thompson was America's strongest man, but yet I only heard that when they announced him. I didn't hear it enough.
Yeah,
the American Night Bear, American log press record holder. No, he's the America's strongest man. You hear Pavlo Kordiaka, Europe's strongest man.
There's a story behind this. You know that, right?
No, that's why I'm bringing it up.
So Dion Wessels, or Dion Masters now, trademarked America's Strongest Man the day before TWI did, IMG. The day before. And has won every lawsuit with it. And in the process of them going after each other, they've pretty much dynamited the bridge. Because at one point, they were going to make America's Strongest Man just like World's Strongest Man for American television. And the destructive nature of what happened in court.
As great as our country is, that's the thing. There's the thing. It's just like powerlifting. Oh, I don't like the rules. Now I got the Big House Powerlifting Association. It's like, it's the same thing. Like, well, look, even us as strength and conditioning coaches, as a unit, there was the National Strength and Conditioning Association. When they got too big and started really going outside of just the coaches, the college coaches got upset and broke off. So now, like this week, I'm at the College Strength and Conditioning Coaches Association. 10 years later, the National Strength and Conditioning Coaches Association, they don't learn anything. Pissed off the high school coaches. Guess where I go in June? The National High School Strength and Conditioning Coaches Association deal. So it's just like sometimes we get in the middle of things and don't realize what's best for the profession or what's best for the sport.
Right.
And it's hard because, as you guys know, there's several amateur types of associations now, and you got to choose which one you want to compete in because it's affiliated with something else. Like, I'm just still learning that part, but like, if you want to go to Giants Live, you got to do official strongman game stuff.
Yeah, you do now. Yeah.
So why would I do anything else? Because Giants Live gets me to World's Strongest Man.
Correct.
So when you start connecting dots, I got to be in official strongman games if I want to get to Giants Live, which could catapult me to World's Strongest Man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, I mean, and it's the same thing like back in the day. I want to be an IPF World Powerlifting Champion. Well, that used to be USPF.
Yeah,
then it was ADFPA/USA Powerlifting. So now you guys are going.
I was part of the NGB on that, by the way.
Oh, were you?
I was in the national governing body for
Come on,
ADFPA.
man. What are you doing? You're part of the problem, Nick. Come on, man.
Well, no. The IPF told us in the meeting that they're going to kick the USPF out and then bring us in because they wanted to see it become an Olympic sport. They completely and utterly failed over the last 24 years to get that in and did not hold up their part of the bargain. And all they've done is destroy the drug testing that the ADFPA had back then, because the ADFPA, the judges could administer the drug test. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah, I know.
So
I was an ADFPA judge.
Yeah, me too.
I still got my patch somewhere.
Mine's right up here on the wall.
Yes, yeah. So I gotta find mine. Yeah, there you go.
see it right up there?
Yep. I gotta go get mine. Now I gotta go get mine and put mine in my gym.
But it was funny is we could do a 2-hour drug screen because they just pull the guys randomly out. A judge can just come knock on your door and get your drug test. You can't do that.
And the other thing too is, as you knew, most of the judges knew the athletes, and even if they were allegedly drug free, they knew which ones were actually drug free, and they'd pull them so they wouldn't have any failed tests.
Well, I don't know. They tested me out of contest 3 different times.
Yeah. The
IPF would do that. The IPF, the first year we got in, I think Brad Gillingham had to compete against. He got 3rd that year in the super heavyweights, and the top 2 guys had just come off of drug suspensions and didn't get tested, but he did.
Yeah.
These are things I remember.
Yeah. I mean, well, and then as you know, I think the athletes and their teams are always going to be smart enough to come up with the next big drug that does. And again, now we're digging into a little deeper deal, but that's where I've always said and again, this is a personal, not a professional. This is just my personal. Everybody's got a choice. But the one thing that I've had a hard time wrapping my head around was when you hear about, and again, I could see both sides, but when you hear so-and-so lost his medal because he got caught for a compound that wasn't able to be tested 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Well,
you see some of that and you're like,
yeah,
man, they're keeping first of all, they're keeping the stuff that long, tells you that. But it's like, man, that's a big interesting fact to see how both people respond to that. The person who moves up to get the medal, and then the person who loses the medal and again, a lot of times we know overseas, half those athletes didn't know what they were getting.
Yeah.
I read a book, I don't know where it is in one of my libraries, called Fool's Gold, about the East German women's swim team. and the things that those young women didn't know what was happening to them, and then the repercussions when they were adults.
Yeah.
Kind of scary. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of scary.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's like that movie Icarus, where they had to do all those crazy
Yes.
things for, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, what is, and the Olympics keep it that long, and then
Well,
like I said,
the
they
crazy
test
thing is
periodically.
if they're going to go back and do that. Now, I watch Bigger, Stronger, Faster. Did you guys?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
When they talked about the race in the Olympics, where Carl Lewis ends up getting the gold medal, and then they still have the samples and they retest it, and they said everybody in that race but one guy would fail, and it wasn't Carl Lewis.
Yeah.
I mean, that really makes you question. So if you're going to go back and do that, then go back and do it for everything that you have all the way back, or don't do it at all.
That's all. And again, that's that's a lot of people have moral dilemma with that, and I guess for me, being around sport as much as I've been around, and again, Lyle Alzado went to high school, same high school as me. He was a couple of years younger than my.
I'm a huge Raider fan.
I know Lyle. I trained with Lyle in high school, and I know, I'm not stupid, man. I had a really good support system when I was in high school, so I'm not an idiot. I know what's going on, but I really believe that. And again, maybe this is more from a personal standpoint. He doesn't get the credit he deserves for what he accomplished on the football field. Like, they didn't keep sacks and record until he actually was like 2 years before he retired. But unofficially, he has over 100 sacks in his career that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
He, in some ways, he's a legitimate ability to possibly be a Hall of Famer. But because he said what he said out loud, and I totally disagree with his thought process of this is why he was who he was, because when in high school he was from his upbringing, he was always a fighter. He was always pretty much a nut job. And you could say what you want about the steroids and this and that, but the one thing that steroids don't change is how hard you work.
Very true.
And when I saw that guy in the gym training with me and my dad, steroids don't make people work hard.
Yeah.
Nope.
If anything, most guys who take steroids stop working hard because they think they're going to get the extra kick from that. So it's again, we're probably delving into things, but
it's okay.
It's an education thing for me. And that's why sometimes I don't mind talking about it, because it's an education thing. True. I'm not recommending it. I'm not, I hate when I hear these younger high school kids and, hell, man, you don't even need creatine because you don't eat right, you don't sleep right, and you don't work hard enough. And
exactly.
Most of them don't know how to lift with proper technique. So it's crazy to see that. But the one thing, like when you watch these guys like an Alzado and they come out, I think some of it is their testimony, because they know, and they're trying to, again, I think a lot of what he was trying to do was be a deterrent to younger athletes.
I agree.
And trying to put all of what he accomplished was on this, and why he got sick, he was on that. Because if you remember, he was retired, and when he made that comeback, is up until that point, I don't think he ever experimented with GH. And when he started training with Hatfield and getting all into the plyometric work and the really a totally different, because he was just a banger. He was an old school lift heavy.
Just getting in there, hitting it.
So now he's trying to catch up a little bit because he's 40 plus years old. I think he thought that was the reason why it occurred. But, I don't, like anything else, the hard part with everything that goes on is, in anything, there's use and abuse. And that's the critical factor. It's no different than drinking alcohol, eating too much, not eating enough.
Yep, not sleeping.
Enough.
Yeah, there's just certain things that all come into play. But the one thing that I always admired about Lyle was, and this is why regardless of what you knew or didn't know, the dude worked like he was getting cut every day. And that's something I took to myself was I'm not as talented as these guys. I just got to outwork them, and hopefully that'll pay off. And then the other thing was, people don't realize how much he gave back. Like if you know a lot of his story, he always gave back to the kids. Always.
I got coached by him at offense defense football camp.
He did a lot of things when he was in Denver with Special Olympics. And I think a lot of that was his way of being wholeheartedly, because of the family situation he grew up in was not that. It was quite the opposite. So it was interesting because I remember when he got traded to the Raiders, we were playing intramural softball at PS number 2. He drives up in his, at that time it was that 2-seat Mercedes SL convertible, and he pulls me over and says, "I just got traded to the Raiders," and he was upset. I was like, "That's a hell of a lot better than the Browns." And he went on to win a Super Bowl and get comeback player of the year and things like that. So it's just funny how you remember certain stories and how things resonate, because it all starts with just having good support systems across and trying to figure out ways to do things and learning life's lessons. Yeah. And that's why I think, sports can help enhance that. If you're somebody who's a sporting athlete or somebody who's promotes sports, or your kids are in sports, I think you can learn more. And you always, like anything else, right? Once it's over, you really find out how much that stuff helps you. Like I watch my oldest son and how his journey in life has been, and there's a lot of things that I can see now that he was listening.
They might not be paying attention, but they're listening.
They might have wanted us to know it.
Yeah.
And then my youngest son, totally different journey. So again, you just like anything else, man, you just try to go out there every day and figure out what's right and be humble enough to know that you're not perfect. And can you look in the mirror and do a pretty good job of self-criticism, because that's hard too. And to know what your faults and weaknesses are. And if you're willing to progress and just be authentic. I mean, I'm like, that's one thing that you just got to be upfront and authentic, because what you see now in this day and age of showtime versus go time versus no time is with the way people are, it's interesting to watch their expressions, right? If I see somebody on social media doing these outrageous things, well, when I meet you in person behind closed doors, you better be outrageous.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't be that guy who, it's time for me to shoot social media. Let me pop some high energy drinks and go out there and go psycho. And then 10 minutes after that, you're worn out, sleeping on the couch. Just if you're a go timer, then be go time 24/7. If you're a no timer, then be a no timer 24/7. There's nothing wrong with that. And we're in that age where people are looking for that personal recognition.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I've always said I've been very, very, like I said, honored with the personal recognitions I've achieved, but all of that achievement is based off of the work and the abilities of the staff I've had and the athletes I coached. If I'm doing this stuff by myself, there is no personal achievement. There is no meeting Brian Shaw when he's a young kid out of college who says he wants to be a strength coach, to find out, 6.5 months later that he's got a different dream. And he was smart enough and cerebral enough, even at that age, to really realize that if he was going to pursue this thing that he couldn't get out of his head, that the hours and commitment of the career he was looking to get in, at some point you're going to have to make a choice. And that was one of the discussions that Tom and I had. Because Tom's he's in a tough profession to succeed if it's not an ideal situation. And the great thing for Tom is he has a coach that coached him in college, so understands. And as me and Tom discussed, he's still at a point now where he's an assistant.
Yeah.
So it's not all, it doesn't fall on his shoulders. So at some point in time, like another friend of mine, another colleague, and it seems like I've had, well, he didn't make, but I've coached with 4 guys. 2 wound up getting us. Well, one of them, Corey St. Clair.
Yeah.
He was an intern of mine and on my powerlifting team at Boise State.
Wow.
And then, so he wound up getting his pro card when he was doing those super series with Ode.
Yep.
And those guys in Venice Beach.
That's how I met Corey.
Yeah. So
Doing the super
he
series.
still has, when we used to go down to the river and pick up stones for the weight room, he still has the original 218-pound stone. He's the one who took it and he still has it. So it's kind of cool. But when you see these guys, it's like it's a diversity. It's when do you make this break? And so with Brian realized the commitment as an intern, let alone now I'm going to promote you to graduate assistant. So now there's more entails that. And then if you keep working up, hey, if I wind up being a head guy, there ain't a whole lot of sport coach. Like if you're in a football game, if you're a head strength coach, you ain't going up to in September 20th and saying, Coach, and October 15th is the Rogue Invitational. I'm not going to be here for that weekend's game. Well, you might as well pack up for the Rogue and stay at the Rogue.
Yeah, right.
So in Tom's case, he's in a really good situation. And my buddy John Heck, who chose to go the coaching route and took an NFL job, but when he was in college, the coach that he worked for, Coach Hess, understood what his goals and aspirations were. And because he was an assistant, if you need to compete, we'll work it out and go.
Sure.
But when you have to get to that point where now
you got to choose,
you got to choose, it's going to be, it's hard. And luckily for me, like meeting Tom and again, I didn't know Tom till the Shaw Classic last year, but obviously he knew who I was. And so we hit it off right away. And I don't want to say I'm a mentor, but if I'm somebody because I understand the situation that him and his wife can reach out to and get my opinion, I feel like, that I'm cool. I think that's cool, right? Like there's somebody out there that he knows understands exactly what I'm going through because he saw it. Right. And can give me a perspective that a lot of people can't. And that's what you hope to do by building the relationships. But like I said, like in Tom, I'm going to be interested to see because he has athleticism because obviously he played football. Yeah. But when I watch him and I look at where his potential could be because he's still young, does he fit the podium of World's Strongest Man better than the Shaw Classic, the Rogue, or the Arnold? Right now, I'm like, those events there, I can see him podium on. Yeah. If they continue to go athletic, nothing. I'm not saying he couldn't, but right now, that would be my challenge to him. I know you're going to podium in the strong events. Yeah.
I think if he doesn't gain any weight,
that's what I'm thinking.
He stays
Watch
where
out
he
how
is
to get too big.
And leans that down and works on speed, does some jumping rope, stuff like that, where your feet are fast. And
that's what we worked with Brian the last 2 years was footwork.
Yeah, speed.
I mean, we're bringing up 6-inch mini hurdles and just working on pivots and how can we be more efficient in plants and pivots. And again, especially it showed up this year. A lot of things we worked on last year showed up this year. His deadlift, he's getting closer and closer to the Brian Shaw deadlift we know, and his footwork and his conditioning at that body weight is pretty phenomenal.
It's impressive.
40 years old.
It's nuts, and I don't think it. I think a couple of the events getting thrown into different spots, like the first one.
Oh yeah, the rain completely threw off the first day of finals.
Yeah,
and again, everybody had to go through it, right? Like we said, the older athletes, the cerebral deliberateness of what they're doing and how they're prepping is different than the 26-year-old athlete who's like, "Oh, it's raining, big deal," and they're not thinking about it like, well, that didn't live up to my expectations. Now I got to chase this in event 2. Well, that didn't go to cost. Now I really got to bring it in event 3. Well, that didn't go to cost. Now I've lost, now I can't make up enough points in day 2.
Right.
And then it just keeps ding, ding.
Yeah.
It's like you're just getting jabbed in the head, and now you can't shut it off. And that's, and I'm 100% like that myself. Like the other day, man, I'm at this conference. I wake up at 3 a.m. and I'm thinking about what's going on, and I didn't need to get up till 5:30. Well, I'm up at 3.
Yeah.
And you're trying to lay around, get back to sleep. Before you know it, you're like, just get up. Start the day, right? So I'm down in the pool at 4 o'clock doing mobility work in the pool and stretching on the deal, and off you go. And that's a tough part for the older athlete who's continuing to chase greatness at the highest levels. It's something to really learn, and hopefully individuals who continue to get into the high levels that start getting into what I call the submasters age of 35 plus start to realize how much more the mental comes into play. And then 40, 45, 50, 55, it really starts to, really hit you. It's, again, these are just,
I kind of had to do that on the fly.
Continue to learn, man. And you have to be willing to accept certain things.
Yes.
Like Nick, like, again, what you're doing and the ability to maintain how you're doing is exceptional. Like in Brian's case, I used to go back like with the deadlift. Everybody's like, is Brian ever going to deadlift like he used to? Well, when you've deadlifted 1,000 pounds as many times as he has, that catches up to you. It's like Eddie Cohn said, and I always go back to it. You only got so many max effort lifts in your life. Save them. And the problem is when you're in World's Strongest Man, you can't save them.
Nope.
Because for every 1 rep max you do, there's a tax. But then for every competitive event you're in that has a repetition max, that adds up accumulation too. Like, again, I thought repetitions was beneficial to Brian at this point in his career than a pure 1 rep max in the World's Strongest Man setup.
Yeah.
And it did. He had the two best events he had overall were the 2 deadlifts.
Right.
I know he was a little disappointed with the number in the finals, but compared to everybody else, it was a very good number.
Yeah, it was a great number.
But to me, I felt like that was a better situation than if he would have had to have done a max, because for any other reason is everybody else is a really good deadlifter. And now 900 to 1,000, everybody does that. You kind of shrug your shoulders, but in the top, you remember when 880 was, that, oh my God, someone deadlifted 900.
Yeah.
And now, if you don't deadlift 900, you're in trouble. Like, you're coming in, you're losing mega points.
Yeah. If you're not pulling probably 940, 950 now from the floor, you're going to give up enough points where you're not going to be able to maybe not even make the podium, but you won't win.
See, and then like for me, that's why like going into the Shaw Classic, I think Brian, based off of where he's at deadlift wise, I think he will be very, very happy with the number he pulls this year, because he's such in a better place mentally, physically, technically. I mean, again, when you get older, injuries, they may be corrected, but they always linger in the back of your head. Is this the rep it's going to go again? Is this the rep it's going to go again? Is this the rep it's going to go again? And then you got to shake it off real quick. Like, hey, you can't think like that. Your hands are strapped in.
That'll be one of that is, I'll say this now, that is one of the hardest things to get out of your head when you go to grab a hold of the bar, like after tearing my lat off. It took some mental will. And then you just, at some point you have to go, okay, I know it's solid. I've been doing block pulls with over 1,000. It's still there. So I'm just going to pull from the ground.
Yep.
And I'm just going to pull.
But it took you how many times of pulling block pulls to feel like, okay, my mind's right. I can put the ball on the ground. Yeah.
Probably 3 or 4 months.
It's hard, man. It's just,
And then now it's going to be the same thing with my abdomen. Coming back from the kidney thing is, I pulled 485 for 20 last week, which was great. I said, once I get to 500 for 20, I'll start pulling singles. I think 485 is close enough.
Yeah.
So I'll probably go up and pull like 600 for 3 this week just to start getting used to that. And now I'm going to throw them the block pulls every week. I did 700. In the first rep, I was like really nervous pulling on it. I didn't grab that thing and pull with everything I had. I pulled enough to get the bar moving and then just kept waiting to feel anything. And when I got to the top and didn't feel anything, then I just went, okay, and then did 9 more.
Right. Yeah.
So
I know. I mean, 135 on the deadlift. As soon as I go in, I'm like, all right, dude, you better lock in, because a lot more people get hurt in the warm-up weights rather than in the max left.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, and I'm like, if you watch me on a squat, like 135 and 405, they look exactly the same because I'm taking that thing. I'm like a super eccentrically concentrated guy because I got to make sure it is on. Even on dynamic effort, like that's why I tell people my dynamic effort scores on a velocity-based training device will always be slower because I won't negate an eccentric focus, because I know like my whole process on a squat is I got a 5-count descent before I'm going, and I don't care what weight it is. I don't care if it's to a box or not. That's just my thought, because I know if I can maintain that eccentric strength, I know when I get to the time for transition, it's coming up. Like I'm not getting stuck.
Right. Well, the other thing though is how much researches are done on the fact that if you're going down fast, to stop that and get it going back the other way, you're multiplying the weight times the speed. So at the bottom, you have to push out with 900 pounds on an 800-pound squat.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of that. And, it's that overcoming eccentrics. Yep, and
if you go down super slow and then explode out, you're only stopping 800 pounds at the bottom.
And again, in powerlifting, although a lot of people talk about the explosiveness and the maximum concentric acceleration and all the stuff with Louis with the circa max phase with the, because a lot of it's a little bit different than like jump. Like the faster counter movement you have in a jump, the higher you're going to jump. And there's some relationship to like on dynamic effort, the faster you go down, the faster you go down, allegedly, the faster you'll come up. But that's a totally different component than, to me, of maintaining a sturdy, upright posture, because a lot of times we forget that to me, it's about focus, like focusing on technique. Right. And a lot of times you have technique breaks when you overemphasize speed of movement on the eccentric in a strength lift. And again, I don't want to talk and get myself out-educated by somebody who listens. But the only athlete that I ever saw squat that didn't break form, who was extremely fast on the way down, on the way up, and it translated to when he went over to Olympic lifting, was Shane Hammond. I never saw a guy go down that fast with that kind of load and maintain technique through the whole thing. That guy, it almost looked, people called it the dive bomb technique. That guy dive bombed 1,000 and came up like it was a dynamic effort. And I used to laugh because the old fast. Olympic, when he went into the Olympic weightlifting realm, and they would show him clips of doing like 705 for like 5x5, and it looked like 225, and people were just amazed. And I was like, you got to remember that's 70% of his max. Number one. And that's the reason why he was able to, and back then that was a little different because I don't know how much it's changed in the USA, but they used to do all their squats and accessory work based off percentages of max of their competition lift. So like, and again, this number should be fairly close to correct, but like you would set your training max on a back squat like off of 120% of your clean and jerk. So if you had really, or front, something in that known. But if you look at it from guys like Shane Hammond, that would have been under 50% of his max. Right. And I think that's one of the things where, if you guys know Travis Mash, what he's done with his guys and his women on his team was he took some of those components of powerlifting and brought it into his weightlifting team. And if you watch a lot of his weightlifters, now I do think in that sport, there is a point of no return where if you continue to get stronger in a squat, it's not really going to make a difference.
Right.
And we saw that with one of his athletes who was a really good squatter. He's now with a different coach, but I've watched him continue to evolve where he squats generally 100 pounds less than what he usually does in training. Mm-hmm. But he's the second rated American and is probably going to go to the 2024 Olympics.
Damn.
Because his competitive lifts are up. So that's where you have to play the game. But I felt like when Travis kind of broke that mold of we still got to be strong.
Right.
Like his guys always came out of the hole explosive in the front squat. Like I would say a high percentage of Travis Smasher's athletes will never miss a clean. They may miss a jerk for various reasons, but if they catch a clean, there's a high percentage they're coming out. Same thing with the snatch. So I think there's a lot of components, and that's why like when people used to get on Louis for bashing weightlifting, I think he had some realistic components when you studied the way weightlifting in USA trained. They really didn't train max effort work.
Right.
They were very, very good in technique. They were very, very good in training the movement, but the accessory stuff, and I believe this to be true, and I've delved a little bit into the weightlifting world early in my career with some state level competitors, is we're not strong enough to do what we need to do to get to the numbers these other organizations and federations across the world are doing. You know, and it's just like everybody tries to replicate stuff. I saw a really good American coach, and he played college football, Tim Swords. He was dissecting Lasha's technique in the clean and jerk. And Lasha, if you look at him fundamentally based off of what it should look like, he's got several minor flaws. His upper body, his upper back thoracic is a little bit low, rounded more than it should. He's got a little bit more elbow bend. And everybody's teaching the Lasha pull, because this guy's the greatest lifter right now in the world. There's a reason why, because he's got other genetic factors that make him, plus he's, 400 pounds. So, a 132-pound person shouldn't be learning the Lasha pull. And really, no one should be learning the Lasha pull. It's just like Brian Shaw's deadlift. Any strongman who mimics Brian Shaw's deadlift technique, if he's not 6'8", 400 plus pounds with the same hip width as Brian Shaw, and the rules state you have to do a conventional style deadlift, you shouldn't deadlift like Brian Shaw.
Right.
Because when you really look at it, me and Brian have talked like this, it's almost a modified sumo without being but you can't put your hands in between your legs.
Right. I'll agree with that.
I mean, and again, if you watch, as he got wider and wider and wider, he had to find natural position. So that's one thing that we had to learn when I first got hired, whatever you want to say, when I first got brought onto the team, the big thing was we got to get this guy's confidence up and get this hamstring thing cleaned up. And Nick, you were out there early. He's doing hip thrusts. Yep. He's doing RDLs off the vert pull. He's doing stuff sumo deadlifts. Like everybody was like, why? Because we had to build all these muscles that he never activated because he's doing the same thing. So for as long as he's been lifting, we're exposing him to exercises he's never done before. That takes time. It's like I tell people, you don't mess with greatness even if the technique doesn't look biomechanically correct. And that's what we found out. We had improved so much stuff that Brian's technique had actually improved to a point where it wasn't efficient for who Brian Shaw was. He would pull himself into position and you'd be like, holy shit, that looks like a textbook. Problem was, it wasn't good for his mechanics. So we had to get him into the perfect Brian Shaw technique, which a year later
was there.
It was good to go. And that's where you look at certain things, and we were fortunate that we had, what we would call I call developmental phases, because Brian doesn't compete like these other guys. If Brian would compete like these other guys, I don't know if we're able to do that type of rebuild.
Right.
Because we wouldn't have had enough time to invest legitimate training time for those responses to elicit the necessary improvements that he needed. And that's the great part about training. Like now, it'll be interesting to see how some of these other guys, like I watch some of these other guys And I know they got coaches, and believe me, I'm not proposing myself as a strongman coach. I'm a strength and conditioning coach that can help strongman. And that's what I've learned with Brian. Like this year, it's like anything else. I believe that a strength and conditioning coach with my experience definitely has a niche and a role training a high-level strongman competitor, but there is also a need for an event coach. It's like a position coach or so for me, and you have to know your athlete enough, and you have to be confident in your own ability to tell your coach. Like last year, I thought Brian was too coachable. He didn't give me enough information. Like after the competition and his debrief, well, I used to do this. I said, man, if you would have told me that, I'll work for you. Tell me what we got. I'll write it in. That's my job. So this year, we really did a better job of that. Like, all right, Brian, I'm the strength and conditioning coach. You're the head coach and event coach. I'll help with the volumes and the loadings and things based off what you tell me, and I'll give you my feedback, and you got to agree on it. If I give you the script and you don't agree with it, then tell me, no, I can't do that. Yeah. And that's where I thought happened a little bit year one was it almost like he respected who I was and what my role was too much. But if you know Brian, that makes sense. So we cleared that up right away. And it was, like I said, it really worked out. And that allowed me to learn more from the technique. Like the one event now, I feel like I can be very helpful for the high level strongman competitor. Definitely novice. Like I really feel confident in training a novice coming up because their improvements are not going to be because of me. They're going to be just because they're a novice coming up. But with the high level guys, I think I have enough information now where I can provide valuable feedback. The one that I still really got to wrap my head around is the circus dumbbell because it's so much like an Olympic lift that it doesn't matter if it's 100 pounds or 400 pounds. It's technique. It's bar path. It could be the difference of, is the circus dumbbell round? Is it square plate loaded? It's the size of the grip. So even with me, like I mess around with it. So like for me, I start going out because I got York circus dumbbells. So I put fat grips around them.
Yeah, right.
And I'm trying, and again, for me, I'm just playing, I got 50, 60, 70, 80 pounds. And I'm like, this is a effed up. You got to really learn how to get this. Like
it's positioning without blowing out your elbow.
If you got, it's all where does it fit? It's a different tricep movement.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I'm like studying the overhead press work, I'd be interested to sit down with the guys who, if you got it, you got it. It doesn't matter how you train. But there's some uniqueness to the log and the overhead press and strongman where I'd like to see how some of these guys do direct tricep work and what exercises they script at different time. That was one of the things that I was really trying to dial in with this cycle with Brian. And in training, it looked like a lot of things we did from the tricep specific work tied in. And again, in the display, I'm not disappointed in the display of work because when your athlete says that's all I had, that's all you got. Then that's just the way it is. If you tell me you went out there and man, I could have gone harder. No, I'm pissed. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, if you gave me everything you can and your best was 10th, we were 10th place in that event. That's just the way it is. Like,
that's it.
And again, you could kick yourself in the ass and, I didn't have my breath right or I didn't do this. The only thing is, did you give it the best you had?
Right. Because that's all you can ask from anyone.
Because the other stuff you can learn, if it's technique, that's just the way it goes. Sometimes you miss a lift on technique. How many guys get their first attempt in a squat 3 reds because they tried to cut it or something happened because they were nervous. It was the first attempt of the meet. And then they still come back and squat 100 pounds more because they dial it in.
Right.
The problem is on certain events in strongman, you're not getting a repeat.
Yeah.
That's very true.
You know what I'm saying? You're not going out, we had a little hiccup in the Conan's wheel. Oh, we're going to get a second attempt. No, you're not.
Nope, you're done.
You come in 5th out of 6th. Game over. On to the next event. So, again, I keep going back. If there's the things that I want to resonate with coaches are just remember what your role is like, and this is everybody's got their reasonings. Like for me, I like being in the background. Like I want to be around, but I know if I'm not around every day, I can't be around every minute of the day during game day.
Right.
If that makes sense. Like you got to let the people who are there. I want to touch you, make sure you're cool, hang around a little bit, and get away. Now, if I was in the room every day, like James was, or like,
Right.
or is in the twice a week, Steve and them guys, maybe I would find myself being more involved. And that's where I have to. That's the real tough thing for a high level coach working with high level athletes from a TV screen. Is
Sure.
You can't put more pressure on the guy in competition by now all of a sudden you're feeding him with stuff that you're not feeding him 5 days a week. Like Nick knows how I coach Brian virtually. A couple of times a week I'm going to get on, but I'm only on for the one thing I want to watch.
Right.
We talk, see ya, have a great workout.
Right.
Because I don't need to see the other stuff. Well, I should, but I shouldn't. But I just
it's
know
also
what
4 hours.
Yeah. I know what events I want to see on Saturday. And I know I want to watch a deadlift. All the accessory stuff, tell me your feedback, tell me what you think, make adjustments, and on the fly. So I cannot be there for every minute of the day in competition. And now this guy's like, because I don't know what he's thinking. Fucking house. Now all of a sudden he's here all the time. You know, I don't need to walk out to the event with you. I don't mind being where I'm at, but I also want to know that I do have the opportunity where I got to go make sure this guy's all right and then get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
And that's where I think like
try to do the same.
Some people on coaching staffs, and this is for coaches who, and again, this is not to criticize. I think these are learning opportunities for this new age of coaching. When you're coaching from afar and then you show up at an event to handle or be there to support your athlete, how you coached him or her for those 16 weeks of prep is how you have to be available for those days of competition. And that's why, again, like the one thing I really said last year was, and I can't remember how it all came about, and I don't know if I approached Brian first or whatever, because I didn't know how they do coaches' passes and I didn't know any of that. And I was very, very upfront and said, look, man, I'm not there with you every day. I don't need to be, I said, whether it's James or Kerry, whoever needs that, be there and handle you and understands that.
Yeah.
I don't need to be a rookie trying to figure out how to get you handled on these events. And that's when, obviously, James being with him as long as he has, James does a great job. He knows exactly how Brian's temperament is. He knows when to get the Gatorade. He knows when to get the tacky. He knows when to do this. I'm still learning that. That's a learning process for me. So that's their role. My role is be there afterwards for a quick debrief, give them the mental support, make sure to keep it positive, talk a little bit about what he's thinking going into day one, and then see you later. It's just, here's what it is. This is what I learned for the Panthers, Ron Rivera. A lot of cool stuff I've learned from Coach. Know your role, manage your expectations. If you weren't in the room 16 straight weeks every single day, you don't need to be out in the forefront. Everybody knows who coached them. And again, I wonder a lot of times how the athlete, now a younger athlete might not give a shit. Other athletes be like, hey man, I know you're my coach, but now all of a sudden you want to be on TV with me?
Yeah.
Again, that's me. I'm not speaking or I'm not disregarding anybody's thought process on how they coach their athletes.
Right.
I just know that it's something for people to be aware of. It's how how you want these athletes to build their relationships with you, because as social media grows, I don't care what anyone says. Sometimes these athletes like, oh, now you're piggybacking me. You see what I'm saying?
No, for sure.
Like, hey man, you weren't with me for 16 weeks. I'm glad you're here, but I don't need anybody holding my hand right now.
I think the experienced athletes, though, will say that. You know, it's the inexperienced ones that it's going to get in their head and mess up that won't.
Yeah.
Because I've had people come in and help me at powerlifting meets that don't normally train with me and stuff like that. And for the most part, I'm like, guys, I'm pretty easy to deal with. It's just if I turn around and need something from you, just be there.
Right.
Other than that, if you know, I'll turn and ask you a direct question if I feel I need some. If you see me doing something fatally wrong, open your mouth. If it's not, and it's what I've been doing, and it's going to get through everything, we're good to go. Just when I turn and need you, just be there. That's all I can ask for.
But I think too, in this day and age of conflict and people not liking conflict, sometimes people are thinking that and don't understand that they should tell the individual, this is what I need from you.
Yeah.
I just like, because I got that's one thing I do not have a problem with.
Yeah, this is what I need from you.
Yep.
Let's go. And again, and like me and you, Nick, we've talked too. Like I mean, it would be real hard for me to coach multiple high-level competitors in the same competition.
Oh yeah, because you can't focus on.
It'd be really, really hard. For those who do it, kudos. I don't know how you separate who you're pulling for versus who you're not.
It's a tough decision.
Because if you end up with two guys in the finals, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean,
unless they're going
two guys in a stone off.
Yeah,
you know. And again, I know there's a lot of guys that do that. More power to them. I know that. I talked to Steve Foshin about this, about different ways. A lot of it would be when you started with them. Like if someone, like, you know, again, after the Shaw Classic, if somebody at the high level said, House, I'd like you to work for me, that would be easy.
Sure.
If Brian continues to go and wants me part of the team, I can't work with anybody. Now, I have no problem with throwing some, hey, what do you think? But I can't be a part, because that's who I am as a coach. I'm always going to try to help.
Right.
I don't have an issue with that. But then the other thing is, okay, say now I start coaching 3 or 4 up-and-comers. And now they're climbing the ladder together. They train with me the whole 9 yards, right? We're like this. Well, now, my thought has already been, okay, if I got these dudes or women, doesn't matter, if I got and they're climbing and it looks like all 3 of these dudes could be in the show at the same time, I already know what I'm doing. I'm going to find, or hopefully I'll have 3 people on my staff. Okay, you're assigned to Nick. You're assigned to Angry Dad. You're assigned to Big House. If they all make it to the show, you're his coach, because I'm in the stands. I'm just there. I'm not talking to anyone at all, because I have to remove myself from the situation and let them guys know that I love all of you, but for these 4 days, that's your coach.
That's it.
Right. I'm rooting for all of you to do the best that you can do.
All of you, because if you all make the podium, man, I look really, really good. But, but in the end, these are the guys who are going to handle you. These are the guys you debrief with. These are you guys. And then those 3 guys I would talk to.
Yeah.
Right.
I would debrief with the coaching staff, because at that point in time, I'm coaching the coaches.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and that's one thing that, again, that's my cerebral, that makes sense to me. There could be coaches right now saying that guy's full of it. That's right. I'm full of it to you because you got your opinion, you got your style, and it's worked for you.
That's it.
For me, I just know, and it's like team sports. I talked to a couple of my buddies with the XFL. They all coach 2 teams each. Well, how's that work? And I talked to the one, and the one said, well, I've got different assistants for both. So the one assistant's on one sideline, the one assistant's on the other side, and he's kind of like walking back and forth. And I'd be like, hell, I'd be in the box.
Yeah.
If I had that situation.
Yeah. Everyone's got earpieces in. Tell me what's going on.
I'd be in the press box, because that's a real interesting dynamic there. Yeah, wow. Coaching is, no one, everybody needs a coach.
Yeah.
Coaches can't coach themselves. Like even me, I wish I train by myself, but like when I really need help, I know who I can lean on. Jesse Burdick. You guys know Jesse?
I know the
Jesse's
name.
someone that I lean on a lot. He's always helped me technically on some stuff, and just a really good guy. He would be one for sure. And then I use my buddy Big John, because John's watched me train for a lot of times where I can get some good feedback from him, and he's stronger than me, so he knows. Back in the day, I mean, Dave Tate helped me out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Wendler. I mean, Dave, it doesn't sound like a lot, but Dave helped write and design the program that got me to squat my best ever squat in competition, 650.
Man.
And he had, and I tore my tricep on that too. So that's kind of funny how that works. But I don't even know. Like,
the crazy thing is Missy Inoki did that.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, all I know is about 3/4 way up, I hear this pack of firecrackers go up in my tricep, and the first thing I'm thinking is, do not take your arm off this bar, or you will not get credit for this lift.
Yeah.
And then I wound up having to stay. Then it was like, I don't even know if I can bench press, and now I'm not going to get credit for the meet, and I won't get credit for the lift.
Yeah.
So I wind up benching the bar and the collar, so 55 pounds.
143. Yeah.
So no, that's 55. So it was 25 kilograms.
Right.
That's all I could bench. And literally, it was this tricep. And, you can't uneven it. I'm literally benching like this to lock out the bar. And then by the time we got to deadlifts, I was DMSO'd up by the time I started pulling. But I got through it, and I got my credit, so it is what it is. But you just learn from people. And, Nick, I mean, you got some partners that come into you, but you pretty much train solo. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to get that motivated to get in there and set that routine up of, okay, man, I got to go and nobody's here today.
Yeah.
And that was why, like for Brian, this was the first time he had a couple of guys training with him consistently. And what really, I knew we were really in a good spot, because on his last training deadlift for the NAC deadlift, we were smart. We set it up as close we could to a non-traditional deadlift, where a lot of guys were trained. And again, the younger guys, it doesn't matter. They were training traditional plates. We had a little rig. We rigged it up, and it worked out well. And what I really liked about that day was he hit the number we needed, little arousal, and he had no partners that day. So I knew mentally he was in a really focused spot, because that's one thing that I think people need to really work on and concentrate on, is the arousalness of training. There's some guys who just get so hyped up, and it's like, after a while, man, that's going to shut you down. Like, if you're a 900-pound deadlifter, you don't need smelling salts at 315.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's something look, you need to be able to do it with music, without music. And this is where the Lalo Zato thing comes in, by the way. You just need to be able to turn it on and turn it off.
Yep.
And you have to practice that. You have to practice, because I'll get quiet and I don't want anybody talking to me. Mm-hmm. It's just, I'm rapping, I'm doing my thing. It's time to go. Turn around. All I am is focus on what I'm doing. I load the spring and just load the spring, and then explode out. And then once there, put the brakes on and set it back down in the rack. And then, if I'm going to celebrate,
I remember it was Jesse. Well, the one guy too was it Dave Hoff when he jacked up Louis in that deal. But even like Jesse, one time somebody slapped him, and he wasn't one of those guys who wanted to get slapped in the back. He went around and just jacked this fool. I think but that's how people go now. I was visiting a high school, and they were, I don't know what rapper was on, and they go, "Coach, you listen to this music when you train?" I said, "I used to." I said, "I'm at a point in my life where my music of choice is sports radio." So I listen to sports radio when I train. I was listening to Barton Hahn one day, and I posted. I think I did a max effort, like wagon wheel deadlift for me, and I posted something about just hit a max, music of choice, Barton Hahn. I wonder if they'll retweet this. And Bart Hahn actually retweeted it, and they contacted me, and sent me a jersey and shorts from the Barton Hahn show. I got
that's cool.
I got
That's
the
cool.
basketball jersey hanging in my gym.
Nice.
So everybody's like, well, I was like, hey man, I cannot not listen to Barton Hahn, man. He just
That's
hooked
it.
me up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of things are the camaraderie of strength sports is very unique. It's more so than football because it ties all the genres together. Like you meet different people from powerlifting, strongman, weightlifting, bodybuilding, and now even CrossFit. It just seems like it's everybody just knows, like they understand what you're going through. It might be a different modality. So it's been like I said, from a fan's perspective of really just growing to love all the different genres of being strong in different manners, to actually get to be behind the scenes and live it. Like I said, I just can't be more thankful to Brian for giving me that opportunity, because it's something that at this point in my career, it's a cool, almost I don't know if I would have considered it a bucket list item, but it's definitely something that's up there. Like coaching in the World's Strongest Man is like going to the Super Bowl. That's what people need to understand. In that world,
that's what it is.
Coaching, being on the sidelines of World's Strongest Man is like being on the sidelines for a Super Bowl. And I'm very, very honored to say I've been able to do both.
That's it. And as you know, realizing that we've almost did 2 hours without even trying, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, like we really kicked this in, and we covered an awful lot. Coach Kenn, it was definitely an honor having you on.
I appreciate you all having me. Like I said, man, I got the utmost respect for Nick and what he does, and
thanks.
I mean, I just love it, man. I just he motivates without motivating, and that's the best part about
the truth.
I mean, that's if you want to look at it from that aspect, like it's just cool. Like I said, and then meeting Mark Felix and just watching these guys do it at such a high level, and the fact Nick's continuing to press the limits of what goals he has set for him in the powerlifting realm, man. It's just, and again, and the exposure that I've gotten to have the facts that I get to now know these guys and consider them friends and things like that. That's what strength, that's what sports is all about, is building relationships and fostering those relationships. And hopefully one day you can pay it forward, like some way or somehow. How do you continue to pay it forward to the people who are interested in what you are and like-minded subjects? So, the honor has been mine for you guys having me. I mean, I think it's cool what you guys are doing. I was talking to somebody yesterday we were talking, and they're like, man, House, you got to do a podcast. I said, you're right. Everybody's telling me that. I've been on over 100 podcasts as a guest. And I'm like, man, I'm giving out all this. And as you guys can tell, I don't need to bring on a guest. I could just do the podcast by myself and say, hey, what do you want to hear me talk about today? And be blow-minded for 45 minutes to an hour. So down the road, my wife's been begging me, so maybe
you got to do it.
Maybe that'll be.
And if you need a little help, let me know. I can definitely assist you in getting started.
Ben's pretty good at that.
Yeah, pretty good at that.
Well, yeah, man, you're the angry dad, which is a great tagline.
Thank you.
Everybody gets a little angry sometimes.
Just a little bit.
Well, again, man, if there's anything I can ever do for y'all, and then anybody who's listening, just reach out.
And the crazy thing is I still had about 4 or 5 things I wanted to talk to you about we didn't get to.
Oh, yeah, because we're going to definitely have to get you on here again soon.
Hey, except for like a bathroom break, I don't have to really go anywhere. I've been on the road for 3 days, and today is usually a recovery. I get my debrief notes. Like I said, I'll type my report up for corporate, and then restructure my week for the rest of the week. But again, thanks, guys. I'd love to come back. And like I said, if there's anything I can ever do for any of you, just reach out, and I'll do my best.
I'll put his link tree in the notes, so you guys, if you want to get a hold of Coach Kenn, you can easily get a hold of him.
And I will say this: if you're in the Raleigh, I'm going to give a selfish plug. If you're in the Raleigh-Durham area, or if you're anywhere in that North Carolina area, July 28th and 29th, myself and Steve Olson are hosting our first seminar, and we've got a terrific lineup with Mike Young, Nick Tominello, Adam Barber, Travis Mash, Steve. Who else am I missing? Somebody big. Oh, Mike Bewley. And then I'm going to go the last 3 hours. So,
wow.
Nice.
It'll be a good 2-day event. It's a Friday afternoon. It's at an all-day Saturday. It's at one of Steve's gyms. We're going to have 2 open gyms. We've got a food sponsor. We've got a supplement sponsor lined up. So it'll be a really good day, and we're going to talk business and training. So thanks for letting me sneak that in.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate it. I'm glad I got to see you guys, and you guys got to come to my side of the country.
Hey, I can't wait till you come out here because
I know because it's going to be hot and sweaty. The question is, am I going to be in a sling or am I still going to be free flowing around? If I'm free flowing, I can definitely train in your gym. If I'm not, you said you're going to get me in the pool.
Yeah,
we'll get you in the pool, and then there's also things you can do.
This pool is cold.
Well, I know what I can do. I can sit at a poker table because I'm good at that.
We have lots of that around here.
I know.
There's a casino like 2 miles from the house, so
perfect.
You can head over there.
All right, well, guys, enjoy the rest of the day and have a great weekend. And thanks again.
No, thank you.
Well,
all right, Nick. Hit him with those famous words as we sign out.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching today. Thank you, Joe. I can't appreciate this enough, House. I mean, it's just been an amazing show. And Ben, thank you. And for everybody, train hard, train smart, and be the absolute best you can be. And thank you.
You're listening to The Best Experience with Nick Best.